Yo, what is going on YouTube? It's your guy, Cuck Gaming here. So today I'm going to be taking us through the tower to see what we've got going on as far as vendor rolls on weapons and Vanguard rolls, Crucible, etc. So I will meet you back at the tower. Alright guys, so we're here in the tower. I might need to grab some... Oh wait, no, it's legendary marks. Okay, so what we're gonna do, we'll start at the right hangar and we'll make our way left. So we'll start with Future War Cult and Dead Orbit. And we will see what type of weapon rolls were granted with this week. Now I was gonna do this video last night, but I didn't have enough time after work, so we'll get this done right now for your viewing pleasures. So let's start with Future War Cult up in this. I don't think I'm part of the Future War Cult right now. Oh, I am. Okay, so first off we got the Whale. Looks like we got Firefly, Perfect Balance, and Explosive Rounds, as well as Hot Swap and Quick Draw. So right away this looks like it'd be more of a PvE hand cannon. Next we're got the Waltz, and here we have also Perfect Balance, glass half full. I have the Storm. I would definitely take Perfect Balance over that. Flared Magwell and Snapshot. So here we have a pretty decent pulse rifle you could run in Crucible. I know the drop off or the added damage for glass half full isn't spectacular just because of the weapon archetype that this one is, but it's still not that bad of a weapon, so maybe grab you that one. We got the Waiting fusion rifle. This one doesn't look too bad right away. We've got Rangefinder with Perfect Balance or knee pads. We also have Snapshot and Accelerated Coil. So with this we're granted with faster charge rate, increased stability, or low recoil rather, and then rangefinder, so it's gonna hit you from a good distance. It's got pretty high impact, and or snapshot, whatever you want to run, but that one's not that bad. Next we have the Wounded, and we've got Zen Moment, which increases your stability with every shot, Third Eye or small bore, Snapshot, and high caliber rounds. Right away I would probably stick with high caliber rounds, Third Eye, and Zen Moment. And as far as the sights go, I would probably stick with the reflex sight or the red dot, depending on which kind you like. And everybody's favorite sidearm, it seems like, the Wormwood. We've got rangefinder on it. We've got fitted stock or army of one, high caliber rounds, and quick draw. So this week this Wormwood's got a pretty good set roll. I would stick with the top three in my opinion, just with the high caliber rounds, making them kind of staggered, and then increased stability as well as range. And as far as the rocket launcher goes, we have tracking, blast radius, battle runner, snapshot, and flared magwell. On this, I would probably stick with, I mean, depending on what you're using it for. Obviously, you can't switch from tracking, so if you were running around in a PvE, you might want to use this as well as snapshot. Flared magwell, if you really are necessarily needing it to reload a little quicker. I don't see it as a necessity. Otherwise, heavy payload, but the blast radius, as you can see, is already maxed out, so I'd probably stay away from that and then just run battle runner and snapshot. So that's it for Future War Cult. As far as the armor rolls, I mean, none of them are topped out, it seems like. This one's a little high, so yeah, let's run down to we'll do the Vanguard weapons next, and then we'll swap over to Dead Orbit. So here we have the Vanguard Quartermaster, who's got the Continental. Looks like it's got the same rolls as that, what the hell is it called? The Waltz. So we have glass half full. We've got small bore or rifled barrel. I'd probably stick with rifled barrel in this just because you're not losing that ammo. And then spray and play or Eye of the Storm. It's got a kind of high rate fire. Not the highest, but it is up there. So glass half full might not be that impacted. But if I was to run this, I would run this with rifled barrel and probably Eye of the Storm. Just because it is such a high rate fire auto rifle, and if your health is low, it won't scatter as much. And this week's Parthian shot, we've got perfect or counterbalance, hand laid stock, low lightweight, feeding frenzy, or rodeo. So this is a pretty deadly roll here with counterbalance and rodeo and hand laid stock. You're pretty much getting that maxed out stability with all of those. So this one might not be that bad to pick up. I know some people are running the Parthian shot in trials and stuff, so maybe you want to get your hands on this one this week. Here we have the Angel's Advocate with hidden hand. It looks like explosive rounds and hand laid stock, rodeo, mulligan. Definitely stick with the top three if you're going to run this in Crucible. How dare you? We've got rangefinder, small bore, partial refund, triple tap, and agility boost. As far as this one goes, it's kind of up to you with the triple tap and the partial refund. They're both going to grant you kind of the same perk, but with triple tap you are needing to land those precision shots. But with this, if you don't finish off a kill, you're going to get part of that magazine back. So kind of your preference on that side. Otherwise, obviously, I'd stick with small bore, and then you get rangefinder. Here we have X Astris with Eye of the Storm. Looks like enhanced battery, so you're getting a bigger mag. Braced frame for that stability. Spray and play, and then replenish. I'd stick with spray and play. It's not going to do much in Crucible unless you pick up a special ammo synth, just because it's not going to give you a second mag right away when you start that first match. So, I mean, either way, I would not use this in Crucible. I just probably wouldn't use it at all. Next, we've got the Tikas Tempest with Hidden Hand, Hand Loaded, Casket Mag, Mulligan, and Army of One. Not the greatest. I'd probably stick with Mulligan just because you don't know if you land all them sidearm shots when you're spewing them crazy at the enemy. Otherwise, Hand Loaded and Hidden Hand is a pretty good combo. Next, we've got the shotgun, Occam's Razor, with rangefinder, small bore, quick draw, replenish, and life support. And then on this end, we've got the CQB ballistics, so we are getting a little bit of a range boost. Otherwise, I'd probably stick with life support, small bore, and then rangefinder, because you're not going to get any ammo after you activate your super if you're using it the way I think you are. The sniper, we've got flinch, resistance, quick draw, snapshot, spray and play, and Army of One. And then for the scopes, we've got an ambush scope, which is my favorite scope. This one is just interesting. And then long view, in case you need something farther away. So I'd stick with unflinching, snapshot, and then probably Army of One, just because it's a sniper. So, alright, then we'll go on to the machine gun and the rocket launcher. With the machine gun, we've got the Bone Crusher with persistence, armor-piercing rounds, hand-laid stock, life support, and hipfire. In this case, I'd probably stick with hand-laid stock and hipfire. Or, actually, life support isn't that bad either if you're in a heavy match. But yeah, one of the high-impact machine guns we've got on the market. And then finally, we have disassembly required, which we have cluster bombs, javelin, perfect balance, grenadier, and life support. And we've got some boosts to velocity and stability here. So as far as this one goes, if you want to use this on Axis, I know the cluster bomb has been a favorite recently since they figured that out. And then I'd probably run javelin with, life support or grenadier. It's kind of your choice. So that's it for the Vanguard. One of the weapons I would suggest would be the Parthian shot. It's got some pretty good stat rolls on it this week. On to Dead Orbit. Here we've got... Oh, shut up. We've got the auto rifle, the extremophile with glass half full, hammer forged, hot swap, armor piercing or high caliber rounds, and lightweight. Not that bad. I'd probably stick with the top three. Next we've got the Keystone, which we've got hidden hand, small bore, outlaw, explosive rounds, and lightweight. I wouldn't use this in Crucible. I know it's might be a lot better off in PvE just because we do have that explosive rounds and the outlaw on it, but I wouldn't use it in Crucible. Next we have the fusion rifle with Eye of the Storm, small bore, spray and play, enhanced battery, and lightweight. I would not use this probably anywhere. Doesn't have that good of stat rolls on it for my liking. And we have the shotgun with crowd control, perfect balance, cascade, flared magwell, and snapshot. This might be fun to run around in PvE with you got that crowd control, cascade, and then flared magwell. So you're reloading it fast and you're getting some ammo back with melee kills. It might be fun to use in PvE. I wouldn't use it anywhere else. Next we have the sniper, the bitter edge, with hidden hand, hammer forged, triple tap, armor piercing rounds, and snapshot. If I was to use this one, I'd probably stick with the bottom tier, or maybe hammer forged just in PvP. So yeah. And last but not least, we have the rockets, which has tracking, javelin, battle runner, field scout, and snapshot. I would definitely stick with field scout, probably javelin, and then tracking. We get some boosts to velocity and blast radius with hard launch. So that's it for Dead Orbit. Nothing really stands out to me too well PvP wise, but PvE wise, I'd probably stick with the Last Ditch just to use that for a little bit of fun. So now what we're going to do is go down to the bottom of the tower, and we will go look at the Crucible Quartermaster, and we'll see what kind of rolls we got. I know there's a lot of favorites in that area. Everybody uses the Palindrome, and we'll see what kind of rolls we get on that this week. Hopefully there's something decent, because it is one of my favorites to use too. So here we go. Right off the bat, we've got our normal weekly bounties with all the weapons. So first off, here we have 0-Day Dilemma. This week we've got Persistence, Small Bore, Appended Magazine, Spray and Play, and Close and Personal. So this is kind of an interesting one on an auto rifle, because you're not going to be doing this close and personal, rather. But if you are, then you're going to get extra melee damage after getting body hits or headshots with this. Kind of an interesting choice. Otherwise, Spray and Play, Persistence, and Small Bore, or actually Appended Magazine I'd use, just because you're getting extra shots. But yeah, so not a very good auto rifle roll, but I guess I can't complain. I don't make the rules. So here we have the Party Favor with Third Eye, Small Bore, Lightweight, Eye of the Storm, and Feeding Frenzy. I know this one was a popular one when Clever Dragon came out, and now after they nerfed those archetypes of the Pulse Rifle, I don't really use them that much, so I can't imagine a lot of people do. I know I run into a few people now and then using it, but if I were to use this, I would probably stick with Eye of the Storm, Small Bore, and Third Eye. Alright, next we have the Hero Formula. Right away it looks like it's got some pretty good stats on it. Hidden Hand, Hand Laid Stock, Armor Piercing Rounds, Rodeo, and Take a Knee. This one, I don't know how often anybody uses this. I've never run across somebody who's been crouched with a scout rifle. If I'm coming at them, usually everybody's reeling or moving side to side, so I'd stay away from that one. But definitely I would use Rodeo, Hand Laid Stock, and Hidden Hand. Those three kind of go hand in hand. Alright, let's skip the palindrome for now just to save it for last. We've got Each New Day with Hot Swap, Braced Frame, Rifled Barrel, Unflinching, and Life Support. Not that bad. I definitely use Hot Swap, Rifled Barrel, and Unflinching just because you would be all like up and down with it if you were trying to use it somewhere. But not that bad. Here we have the 44 Curtain Call with Crowd Control, Reinforced Barrel, Quick Draw, Knee Pads, Performance Bonus, and Field Choke with Aggressive Ballistics. So right away I'd stick with Field Choke. I'd definitely run Reinforced Barrel, and then probably Performance Bonus. Performance Bonus. And yeah. Now we have the Sidearm Anton's Rule with Rangefinder, Casket Mag, Fitted Stock, Zen Moments, and Feeding Frenzy. Right away, definitely the top three. Zen Moments and Fitted Stock with Rangefinder. You're getting all that stability back, and then you're getting good range with it too. So that's actually a pretty decent sidearm. The Event Horizon, we've got Hidden Hand, Explosive Rounds, Perfect Balance, Underdog, and Spray and Play. So that's pretty good. Hidden Hand, Perfect Balance, and Underdog. It's kind of hard to come across a situation unless you were using it in Crucible or Trials and somebody gets a body on you. I don't know when the range boost would help, but maybe Spray and Play would be better just in case you are needing to reload. Otherwise, we have the Chaotic Neutral with Persistence, Perfect Balance, Armor Piercing Rounds, Eye of the Storm, and Hipfire. This one's kind of up to you on this side. I'd probably stick with Eye of the Storm with Perfect Balance just to get that stability. Second to last, we got the Rocket Launcher with Tracking, Heavy Payload, Quick Draw, Battle Runner, and Life Support. Battle Runner's been on a lot of rockets right now. So I'd stick with probably the Heavy Payload and then probably Battle Runner just because it's kind of a fun little perk to have. Alright, so last but not least from the Quartermaster here, we have the Palindrome. So, Rangefinder, Rifled Barrel, and Icarus. Holy crap, guys. That's pretty good. Or even Mulligan. I mean, with this though, I would definitely stick with Icarus, Rifle Barrel, and Rangefinder because the thing with the hand cannons now is the range drop off. So, meaning if somebody prior to this update was 20 feet from you and you got a headshot, it would do regular damage. Now it's doing less because they increased the range drop off. So, these two perks here are crucial to getting that range drop off unaffected. And with Icarus, it's pretty much if you're jumping in the air and you do land that headshot, you are going to get it. So I am honestly going to purchase that right now because that is a good palindrome. But let's go take a look at New Monarchy for the last hoorah. And then this week, guys, I haven't even looked at the modifiers for acquiring the Treasures of Ages. So after I get done with this, I will boot us into orbit, and then we can take a look at what type of modifiers we have. But let's get this boy done with. I was trying to run to the speaker. Alright, so here we go. Name a controller sim instead. So, right away, we've got the Assembly 2, which is a very high rate, low impact auto rifle. So what I would want on this right away, it would be a stability boost. With it, we've got rangefinder, hammer forged, rodeo, quick draw, and high caliber rounds. Since there's not much like stability wise, if there was more stability perks, I'd probably stick with rodeo. But in this case, I'm going to stick with the high caliber rounds and hammer forged. Next, we've got the free will. I've never liked this hand cannon. We've got reactive reload, hammer forged, outlaw, explosive rounds, and quick draw. Not much to like there. I mean, if you're a Fatebringer lover, then you can run those two. But next, we've got the Impeacher with reactive reload, hand loaded, relentless tracker, armor piercing rounds, and hip fire. None of these kind of work hand in hand, but I'd probably stick with the top three. Next, we've got the Bad Council 4 with crowd control, hammer forged, surrounded, extended mag, quick draw, and then nothing spectacular range wise over there. But I'd probably stick with the top three. Last two here, we've got the sniper with take a knee, perfect balance, mulligan, armor piercing, quick draw, and then we've got the none that I really like. Eagle Eye isn't so bad, but I'd prefer something with a snappier scope. But on this one, I probably wouldn't use it just because it's got this take a knee perk. Last but not least, we have the machine gun with persistence, small bore, army of one, armor piercing rounds, and hip fire. I'd probably stick with the top three just because, well, you're gonna have a low stability on this thing because of how fast it fires. So that's why I would stick with that, but then you're gonna lose your magazine a little. So maybe army of one in that case, but yeah, so that's it for the vendors. Some weapons I highlighted were from Future War Cult. If you want to stick with that waltz, you certainly can. Or obviously the scout rifle was pretty good too. When I went down to the Vanguard rep, the next one I enjoyed was the Parthian shot because it's got all them stability boosts on it. I never saw anything too spectacular with the Dead Orbit package. Otherwise, we had this palindrome. Sorry, oh god, which had amazing range on it, as well as Icarus or Mulligan. So if you guys love this weapon, go ahead and grab it this week. I think it's got one of the better rolls that it's had since they started doing weekly rolls on the weapons. And then as far as New Monarchy goes, nothing too spectacular. I wouldn't really recommend getting any of them. So yeah, let's go ahead to orbit, and then we will see what we've got going on as far as our weekly rituals go. Alright, let's bounce to this screen. So, right away, everybody knows it is Vault of Glass this week, and we've got the Templar and Atheon challenge. Next, we've got Challenge of Elders, Super Kill bonus, and Specialist. So, those two are fun, but Trickle sucks ass because you're not getting that super fast enough. I never run Challenge of Elders anyways, so it doesn't affect me too much. Next we have the Nightfall, with Brawler, Grounded, Chaff, and Match Game. The only one that's fun there is Brawler. Otherwise, with Grounded, you're taking more damage as you're in the air. With Chaff, you don't get your radar. And Match Game, you do have to essentially hit someone with the overshield with that weapon type or burn type. You can use a different one, but it does take significantly longer. So that'll be fun. I'm not sure where it's at this week. Yeah, I'm not sure where it's at. The weekly playlist, we have Airborne, Specialist, and Chaff. So with that, just no radar. Otherwise, I'd stick with Shotgun, and then you can DPS that boss super quick. And then as far as the weekly missions go, we have Small Arms, Grounded, and yeah. And then Combined Arms. Well, I haven't played that one in a while. But yeah, that's it for the weekly rituals. As far as new content goes, I will be uploading today my Vaults of Glass run. I will find some people on LFG to do that with. And then I will post that on YouTube, and then I may live stream it on Twitch as well. Everybody get ready for Destiny 2. I know we've got the gameplay reveal on the 18th this month, so super stoked to watch that. Otherwise, thanks for watching, everybody, and thank you.